Pacific Ocean, over 64 million square miles big, is where Captain Jack VanDyke calls home. He runs his ship, the Dana Pride, out of Dana Point, California, looking for whales and fish. It's early Sunday morning, and Captain Jack and crew have a full schedule ahead of them for today, including a burial at sea and 3 whale watching trips.
Hello, my name is Captain Jack VanDyke. We're aboard the Dana Pride, the flagship of Dana Wharf Sport Fishing. We're out here doing some whale watching today. We saw a couple gray whales. Also did a burial at sea earlier. Saw a couple gray whales there and some common dolphin. Today we have 131 passengers that we're trying to go out and show them some marine life. So far just saw a couple of gray whales for them. But that's the way it goes. You never know what you're going to see out here. That's what makes it interesting as far as whale watching. It's not a scripted show like you have at SeaWorld. And so anything you see out here is unique, and that you're watching wild mammals. This is what we do this time of year. During the winter time, this boat spends a lot of time doing whale watching and burial at seas and stuff like that. We have our parade of lights for Christmas. We have our fireworks show during the summertime in July. During the summer, we do a lot of fishing on this boat. Mostly 3/4 day fishing, local fishing, where we catch bass and yellowtail, and hopefully some other types of migratory pelagic fish like yellowtail, dorado, or yellowfin and dorado. But this landing is mostly known for their bass fishing, which is something that I really enjoy doing. I spend quite a bit of my time thinking about catching bass, or either trying to catch bass on my private boats. Do a lot of freshwater fishing. I do like saltwater bass fishing, but I like to break it up and go fishing on a lake where it's different than being out here. It almost feels like work when I'm out here. Even though I'm on a small boat, it's still enjoyable, but it just feels like I'm fishing the same work waters.
For Captain Jack, finding whales isn't the hard part of his day. It's keeping them safe from private boaters that gives him a challenge.
Fortunately, the private boaters know exactly what we're doing, so they come out and they just aim for us. And we're like a beacon of whale watch. This is why lots of whales are going outside. See this other boat going right into this fleet of whale watching boats? Clueless. Clueless private boaters. Clueless. Absolutely clueless. He's gonna come in here and wave at everybody now. Easiest way to get a captain's license, gang, is buy a boat. I don't want to be a downer, but I deal with this every day, and I'm trying to get people to have a good time on the ocean. And you saw there's nobody there until we showed up, and that's what happens. They'll cut in front of you and just carelessly run over the whale. Once in a while you find them with prop marks in their backs, washed up on the beach. These whales live in a world of sight and sound. They do have a crude form of echolocation just to find the bottom, find land, but they have no idea that a boat's traveling that fast, so when they come up, they think they're safe. The careless boater doesn't realize that the gray whales are migrating close to shore, and that's what happens. So if you guys have your own private boats, just be aware that we're sharing it with the mammals that live here. We're borrowing it from them. They're starting to Really pick up here.
Around here, man. How's the conditions looking down that way? Thinking about venturing down there?
These are 2 California gray whales on their annual migration from the Chukchi Sea, the Bering Seas of Alaska, down to the warm bays and lagoons of Baja California. This is the longest known migration by any mammal, covering approximately 10 to 14,000 miles round trip and taking up to 9 months to complete. During this migration, they do very little feeding, if at all, and have been known to lose up to 1/3 of their body weight during this migration. They become opportunistic. If something were to present itself right in front of the whales, they may or may not eat it, but they won't go out of their way to feed during the migration. I started fishing back when I was about 10, just like just about everybody, how everybody else starts. Dad takes them to a trout farm or a lake and catch some bluegill or some stock trout, and it's relatively easy because back then you paid for how many you caught, so we always ended up catching a lot. So I kind of got that bug young, and I was very fortunate that to live around boats. My parents have had a boat, a 40-foot sport fisher, since I was 12-ish, right around there. Started driving that one around before I was old enough to drive a car, so I learned how to drive a boat before I learned how to drive a car. And kind of got into this industry on accident, kind of a hobby job. I was in the automotive business for a few years, really did not like my job, didn't like the work. So I decided I would stop doing that and sold that business to a friend and started working on a boat up in Davy's Locker called the Western Pride as a galley cook, and that way I could cook when it was when people were hungry, but when fishing got good, then I got to fish. So I would turn the grill off, put the spatula down, and get to go fishing up on the bow, and that was pretty cool. And realizing that I was single, young, didn't have a kid, realizing that that probably wasn't going to be something that I did my entire life, but it was just a way I could get on the boats and make a little bit of money. I was living off my savings until that ran out, and then I had to make a decision whether I'd stay working on a boat or going to get a different job, something more stable. At that time, I was doing 2 seasonal jobs. I was working down here or up there, Davy's Locker, during the summertime, and I was working at the Snow Summit as a snowboard instructor and a snowmaker during the winter time. And 2 seasonal jobs. I was having a lot of fun. That's where I met my wife. She kind of settled me down to where I started thinking I was going to have to make more money, become stable. And that's when I decided to come here to Dana Wharf Sport Fishing. And Dana Wharf's been real good as far as making this job a career job for me. They pay us some of the employees medical, and they put us on salary, so we have guaranteed work all year round. And just slowly worked my way up to this boat here. I worked on some of the smaller boats, the Real Fun and the Clemente and the Some Fun, and decked on the Seahorse back when the Landing owned that boat. But worked on all the boats, but now I'm working on this boat just about exclusively. If this boat's running and I'm working, generally I'm on this boat. So I've been doing this for about 20 years professionally. This landing, I've been working here for about 17 years, and I plan on doing this until about 50 or so, I'm thinking. And then I'm going to have to think about maybe retiring, stepping down, letting one of these young kids, young guns, take control, and maybe I'll hit the Senior Bassmaster Tour or something like that, see what I can do there. But anyways, it was nice talking to you folks, and if you ever get back out here in the ocean, maybe you'll come and see me. Dana Wharf Sport Fishing. Thanks a lot.